We shall begin now.
Absolutely. We are live.
Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Women with Wings. Women with Wings is a platform, it's a non-profit organization that is focused in empowering women with the help of empowered women by sharing their life mantra with all over the world. And today with us, we have two lovely women, I would say young women, young girl, and her mom, Harini, Deepta and Harini with us. Harini Srinivasan is a behavioral scientist and a writer, a poet, and her beautiful daughter, Deepta, is a student, singer, and dancer. While I would give the stage to Harini and Deepta, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I'm Vatsala Banerjee, again a behavioral scientist, a painter who loves to paint her life with different colors. And I think every time life give us, chances to make it beautiful. So Harini, I would like you to take the stage and briefly introduce yourself to our lovely audience here.
Okay, thanks for that wonderful, crisp introduction, Vatsala. But just for people to let people know me a little more differently in this forum, I'm not going to be saying the typical things that I say to introduce myself because the purposes of this forum is very different. So all that I can tell about myself is I'm someone who's an explorer. I explore into the unknown areas, and that's what gives me a kick. I love challenges. So if I look at whether it's my career journey, my professional journey, or whether it is things that I do in my personal life, whether it is things that I do at work or at home or at leisure, each time I try to venture into an unknown area. There are things which I have continued, pursued interest, and there are things which I have done just for once and left it. Uh, I explore into writing. I have explored into painting. I've explored into performing arts. Did Bharatnatyam for a while. Once again, tried to renew my interest along with my daughter. Done a bit of painting. And if I get a chance to explore into the wilderness, into the forest, I have a calling for the mountains. So
Wow.
when I am traveling for work, then you will find me traveling specifically picking up those campuses when they invite me. If they are on the hills, then you would find me going there. I would take a couple of days off from work and explore. I have a calling for the hills and for the wilderness. That's me and makes me a complete explorer all in all.
Wonderful. So we can call you Explorer Harini then. Rather than calling you a behavioral scientist, I think you are an explorer Harini who is just exploring life in a fullest way. Yeah.
Yes.
In the best possible way, wherever you get a chance, you just do that. Wonderful. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thanks. Great. So, if I may say, a daughter always tries to fit into her mother's shoes. Now, let me hear from Deepta. So, Deepta, are you also an explorer like your mom? How would you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, so many people, some people who are in my contacts may be knowing me, but for all those who don't know me, I am Harini Srinivasan's daughter, Deepta Srinivasan. I am currently studying in 12th standard in medical. I am preparing for NEET, and I am a dancer, a singer, and a poet. Well, I believe that there is a poet in every person, and words are the pearls of expression, the necklace of expression. So and I am a dancer. I have been into Bharatnatyam for almost 12 years, and I also find my interests in singing, and it's sort of my passion. And I like to explore things as, yeah, so I am an explorer daughter. So that answers your question. And I love traveling. I'm not more of a beach person, but I really like going to hill stations and, you know, dancing in the fresh air.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, probably you get those wonderful expressions from the hills only. Yeah. The serenity, the nature that's there. That's probably call you, right? Very nice. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, the
So,
poet in me will be very
Ah,
interested to actually come out into the session.
wow, wonderful. I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure our audience are also looking forward to listen to this little young poetess, explorer's daughter, how she is exploring her world. Uh, I think Harini, I'm going to switch on. I'm going to little change the stance. I would like to know from Deepta that
hmm.
Deepta, how you have been exploring your journey till now, right from the very beginning. Whatever you remember till now as a kid.
Okay, so my childhood has been very interesting. Interesting in terms of I have always learned in whatever I have done so far. So it's like my mom has done a lot for me, and I believe that I have to give her the same respect. And so it's always been a mutual friendship relationship between us, never like a mother and daughter. So because she has been traveling a lot and flourishing and flying with colors as she passes by, influencing people and mentoring thousands more. Similarly, she has mentored me also to become a very independent person. So from a very young age, I have been led to do whatever my heart says, and I have always grown in an environment which gives me freedom, which lets me flourish, and which always lets me explore each and every aspects of myself. It completes me as a whole. So when she actually started writing before me, and I knew her as a writer very early also, but that inculcated some sort of love for words, some sort of expression through words in myself also. So I started putting pearls of words and making a necklace called a poetry. So I also started becoming a poet. Similarly, there has been many things in which we share in common. One is also dancing. So she has also learned Bharatnatyam from a young age, just like me. We both started at 5, completed at 13, and then still we are on with it. So but she left it to, because many things were on her way. So she chose other path, but still we continue to cherish our talents together by performing in certain places together. So it's like that.
Wonderful. So, would you like to share some of your childhood memories? Any incidents which had probably inspired you or which are like prominent in your life?
Yes. So as I told you, my mom has never given me tasks through which I learn. It's like as
Mhm.
we live, we learn. So life is a learning. So it started from when I was pretty small, like around since 10, I was 10 or 11 or something like that. But even before, she has always been a working mom, and she will always be very much directed towards her ambitions, very ambitious. My personal Julius Caesar, if I say. So yeah, so she has always been a very ambitious and destination directed person. So what the thing is that if she is working late, or if she has not returned home, so it's like she will be worrying from her side. What if my child is hungry? What if she has not eaten? What if I don't reach home at time? What if it's too late? So that inculcated an instinct in me that why should I let my mom worry from the office about my food at home or my well-being at home. So that's how I started to learn cooking. I started to learn different things in her absence, so that I become independent myself, and I somehow relieve some of her worries. So
Wow, that's great. And I'm sure Harini must be feeling proud listening to all the amazing things that Deepta has picked up from your life. Harini, if we go back to your life, and if I would have to ask you about your childhood memories or how you were raised, as a young girl, and now now a real influencing mom, who is kind of more like a picture perfect, who is there, who is I would say Deepta's idol, right, Deepta? That's why she wants to
Of
come into
course,
your
bang
show.
on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, how would you narrate your story, your childhood?
Okay, so I was brought up in an extremely gender neutral environment. I
Okay.
think in my side of the family, I was probably the fourth generation that was brought up gender neutral. So you can
Okay.
imagine the mindedness in my family goes back 4 generations ago, which is unusual.
Right.
Being gender neutral had its had very interesting aspects to it. So both my brother and I were treated exactly the same way. We were given exactly the same kind of exposure, and we were
Mm-hmm.
actually asked to do exactly the same kind of chores around the house. My mother had only one simple statement saying,
Mm-hmm.
"This house belongs to each one of you as much as it belongs to me. So the responsibility of maintaining this house is everyone's."
Mm-hmm.
And that actually put certain thoughts in my head that this is a place where I live. This is not a place where I just stay. So that brought in a lot of ownership as a virtue. So whatever I started doing in life later on, the ownership came almost automatically. So I think that I would attribute to my upbringing, to my early childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Another very interesting way in which we were brought up is we had very 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 humble beginnings, and I remember how my father used to stack up coins, which were the bus fare for all of us who were traveling outside home by the public transport. And if you lose one coin, you have to walk home that day, right? So that was a kind of very humble beginnings we've had, and that taught me a lot about how you value time and money, and that has stayed with me a long time. And every time I would want to do something or I would want to buy something, the first thing I would see is, am I getting value for what I'm paying? And I think that also actually became a virtue in trying to deliver value for whatever you're doing. So when it comes to me having to give my best for anything, I would see what is it that the person was expecting from me, and am I delivering value for that? So I think these were attitudes that I was brought up with. I wouldn't say that I was made to be a perfectionist, because perfectionist kind of borders on having an obsessive compulsive disorder. So I wasn't brought up to be a perfectionist, but all that I was actually brought up to saying is, whatever you're doing, bring your whole self into it. Never do
Mm-hmm.
anything just for the sake of doing. Never do anything just for the sake of ticking a box. And I often say that at the workplace also, that if you really believe in something, if your conviction is very strong, and then your commitment, your conviction is strong, then you should have the courage to stand by your conviction. So I think these were basic
Wonderful.
values which were instilled. And the gender neutrality is one amazing thing. And since I've been able to put that into practice, if I'm able to severely multitask, and I multitask big time. By my work profile is like that, and I've been bringing up my children in a way that I bond with them. We are like friends. All the time you'll find the three of us. Right now, because we wanted to maintain quality of the conversation, we are in two different rooms. But invariably, you will find all of us huddling together. So if
Wonderful.
I'm able to manage my time, I think it is the gender neutrality. I have the stamina and the mental fortitude, absolute balance of both, which actually comes from the both genders within me, which are actually active all the time.
Wonderful. Great to hear that. And I think probably that is something that has really come up and probably has made you a great HR professional as well. And, the way you have been brought up, wherein you learned being humble, being independent, taking ownership. These are those qualities or competencies which in today's world, people really look forward to. And, being an L&D professional myself, I know, people would want to design interventions around how to make other employees learn all this, but it actually goes back to the roots from where a person can learn. And very nicely said that that the house belonged to everyone and everybody was responsible to take care of it. And I think when I was talking to Deepta earlier, I think Deepta also is following your footsteps very very nicely. And quite inspiring to see the mother-daughter duo, both of you. Do you want to share any early experiences, which probably you can relate to, which wherein you had that similarity with your parents, and now with Deepta and your son? Do you want to share those some experiences where you felt, oh, something like this happened when I was a kid, and see,
Yes.
Mama handled it like that? Would you like to narrate those?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mother was also a working woman, and she was working full time, and she worked right until retirement. The way she would wake me up in the morning is one loud call. That's it. And I have to be up and about with my work with just one, because she wouldn't have time to keep walking from the kitchen, come and wake me up and all that. So she would just one loud call, and I would be up. And people used to wonder that, are you scared of your mother, that one call and you're up? And I used to say, no, that's absolutely my respect for her time. And I know that she has things that are in place, and I cannot derail her schedule. And I think pretty much the same thing works when I start, when I wake up Deepta or my son. But that's what it is. It's an automatic expectation, and sometimes I've noticed that my one call is better than an alarm. An alarm goes to, but if I call, they would wake up. Or if I delegate waking them up to anyone else in the house, it wouldn't work. There would, sometimes people have to start an hour in advance to wake them up. But when it is me, it is just one call. And I've asked the same question to her, that is it that you're scared of me, that you wake up in one call? And the answer is exactly what I told my mother, that I know that your time is important. I know that you have things lined up, so I can't let you waste your time. And it's just one call. So I think that's an exact similarity. The conversation is also pretty much the same. So one call is always better than the alarm. No snooze.
Wonderful, wonderful. That thumbs up was for Deepta. Yeah, wonderful, great. So any experience or anything which I would actually want you to narrate some incident which has impacted your personality. Of course, these were some of the values which the way probably your mother brought you up, and now you are passing it on to Deepta. Any incident which has left an impact in terms of framing your personality the way you are? Any memory?
Yeah, one incident. No, actually, I'll tell you two very short incidents. One thing which has come from me from my previous generations, and one thing which is framed my personality, which has come from Deepta. So I would actually want to share that as well, because she's also responsible for it, and I think she deserves this due credit. So one incident is my grandmother, my paternal grandmother who lived with us, who's been a huge influencer to my personality, right from the way I look to the way I behave. I'm considered to be an exact replica of her, and I'm very proud of that. So she was someone who was extremely orthodox, very conservative, but conservative only for herself. She never imposed her conservativeness on any of us. Out of respect, she used to do the things that she used to like to do. But she was extremely orthodox, and she was an extremely elevated person. Now, with that, the way she would deal with empathy with an outsider was amazing. I've heard of a story from her as well, that there was a leper on the street side, begging on the street side when they were living in Cuttack. And they were the only South Indians in that area, and the leper saw them walk past, and he asked them that, before I die, I want to have sambar. And my grandmother, being extremely orthodox, nobody would have believed that she would invite the leper home and serve him homemade sambar with her own hands. Okay. That's an incident which has very deeply impacted me, and that goes a long way, being what I am, where that empathy comes from, where I'm able to put myself in someone else's shoes. And I have a very non-discriminatory behavior when it comes to people. My mind is quite leveled when it comes to people. Now, talking of an incident from Deepta, which has actually developed this further in me, is she comes with a tremendous amount of emotional balance, and that's I noticed this at a very, very, very young age. She had a child with ADHD in her class, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And he was on the border of ADHD and autism. Okay. So he was a very difficult child to manage, and he was in a regular school because he was a borderline case. But nevertheless, he was a difficult child to manage. As a 6-year-old, Deepta came home and she said, "Mom, there's this boy in my class. I know he has a problem, but I'm the only one whom he loves to talk to. And I know that he loves music and he calms down with music. So I speak to him in a musical voice and he's calm in the class." Uh, while all the other 6-year-olds were afraid of this boy or refused to communicate with him, this girl used to sit with him throughout. Even I think some of the examinations in junior classes, she used to sit with him and she used to see whether he's able to cope up. So I was wondering, what is this about her? Why is she able to connect with him? Then I also noticed that throughout her school life, she made friends with everyone. And I used to wonder that, are you very social, unusually social? And I realized that she's able to connect with a lot of people, not letting them know whether she's really connected or not. So when it comes to helping people, she is all over the place. She has no enemies. But when it comes to how much people can enter into her life or influence her life, she knows where to draw the line. So she's absolutely shows a tremendous amount of mental balance. So when I've been noticing her behaving with this classmate of hers who has a slight disorder and needs help, and I also see her interacting exactly the same way with the most brilliant girl in her class, the same kind of connect. I learned that emotional balance from her, and I learned that you'll have different kinds of people around you at all times, and you cannot get judgmental and start putting your emotions out, and you have to learn how to control and balance this. So that's something which is like me mold my personality from her. So that's why it's growing up with her. I learned a lot with her over the several ages that she's been with me.
Great. Kudos to you, Deepta. Having that emotional balance is something, which many of us are still struggling, and we are learning it, as we are growing up. And you at such a young age had exhibited that. That's really amazing. That's superb. And Harini, I think a lot of credit goes to you as well, because probably somewhere, you let her be an independent person who can decide and take a step forward. So, of course, that credit goes to you too. If I remember, when Deepta was introducing herself, she mentioned that you were a dancer and then you have to leave dancing. Yeah. So, why did that happen? And what are you planning to do ahead? And I know you guys did perform somewhere, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah. So being an explorer, I was put into dancing because I come from a family that traditionally all girls are made to learn music and dance. So I was put into dancing. I was an extremely timid girl at the time, and I never wanted to be on stage. But because it was tradition, I learned, and my mother always felt that you should learn everything. You may not pursue as a career or even as a passion, but you should get exposed to it. So I learned dance. I did my performance was at the age of 13 when I performed on stage, and I had several performances around that. So my last official performance was when I was 13 years old. And then I got into academics. I had a lot of aspirations to become a medical professional and so on and so forth, and got into the rigors of professional life and personal life. And when I was 20, I had a major surgery in my knee. There was a degeneration in my knee, and my surgeon told me that I may not be able to even walk normally. But of course, who cares? If I don't like my fate, I will decline it. So I declined that. Of course, I'm way ahead of that. But it has reduced the shock absorption in my right leg. So when I run, the shock absorption is visibly less. So it's evident. When I dance, this shock absorption not being there is not going to help. So the movement in my right leg is it's a lot of effort, and that's very visible. But last year, so we used to watch this performance by amateur artists in a local temple, and Suzita was very, very passionate and an extremely fantastic dancer. I used to take her for these concerts, and there was this lady who was also studying along with her. Incidentally, she's much older than me, but she used to dance. She was in Deepta's dance school. So I just told Deepta that, I wish I could wear this costume once more. I just said that, and I said, why don't we try? And this was last year. So that was in 2018. So 2019, just before the registrations started, she connected back with that
Harini,
lady.
Harini, I'll pause you here because I would want to hear this story now from Deepta.
Absolutely, yes.
Because how then Deepta moved, how Deepta handled it, because you mentioned it to Deepta. So what did Deepta did?
Yes.
Deepta, now I want to hear from you.
It's all her doing. I
So
was just listening to what she was asking me to do. Yeah.
And do share what all effort you have put in and what your mama did.
So, okay, so I'll just continue from where she stopped. Okay, so there was this lady who was there along with me, and I still continue doing dancing. So I've been doing Gandharva, for preparing for Gandharva. So she was there along with me. She also learned with me. So she once asked me that, Deepta, I'm going to perform in Ayyappa temple for Mahashivratri. Will you like to perform with me? And also tell me if you know somebody who would love to perform with us, or because I'm planning to do some 8 or 10 items, and I can't do all of that alone because of my age. So please tell me if you know somebody. So that was when I thought कि क्यों ना chance पे dance कर लेते हैं. There was a good chance, and we also were planning to you know to do something or the other, because the dancer in her was also was almost leaping out कि इतना कुछ करते ही हैं. We really want to do something, and I could see that in her eyes also. So when I said yes, so I told her, why not, auntie? Sure, we will. I'll let you know in another one, or not even one or today. By today night only, I will let you know. So then when I came out, so when I told her that, Mama, this is the thing, and we are getting a good chance, she started jumping there only. That okay, let's do it. It will be so much fun. So by night only, the competition was we almost had 20 days time. But our song was ready. She was super excited, and she wanted to just be on that stage with all those colorful clothes once again. So we finalized that we will do Dashavataram that time. And actually, during as I told you, she has been a traveling mother, and she has to go to places to help out people, to actually manage the stuff in different places. So because of that, there were times when she could not practice, or there was like almost a week when we didn't even do one rehearsal. But she always kept in mind that whatever it is, I have to give my best. So even if I get a 10-minute break from my session or from my meeting, I will make sure that I will perform one or two steps, not in of course in as on the spot, of course, but in my mind I will just recollect things. Even when she had voice calls, not video calls. When she had voice calls, she would just do hand gestures like this, and she would, even after her day was over, just before sleeping, we would just go through the video, or we would sit face to face and we would do practice. So it was like, yeah. So even before the day of performance, there were some places where we were actually not able to coordinate. But when it came on the time of performance, it was not me who was actually calming her down. I was getting nervous कि इतना बड़ा stage है, so many people. Moreover, it was a temple, so we could not go wrong also anywhere, because there would be many people who would feel that it's insulting, it's not good. But she is my she is the one who keeps me strong, my strength, the pillar on which the house is standing. So because of her, the performance was super. We got many good views, and we also, got praises from people saying that, this is not this. It looked like you have danced so many times. You should do more together. So yeah, so that's how it has been. So
great. So Harini, do you agree with Deepta that it was because of you?
She has been very lenient. First of all, first thing she said is, you're very much out of touch. So I will do the choreography. Okay. because I was actually out of touch. This was an attempt I was doing after 33 years. Oh, there's my uncle who saw me when I was 2 years old. Yes, that's my uncle. So after 33 years, if I have to come back on stage, obviously I was struggling. It was not spontaneous. So I mean, it was when she told me that I don't think you should even attempt. Let me do the choreography, and she was bang on right. So I said that's the best way to move forward. And when she was a child, when she used to practice for competitions, I used to tell her that every day you should practice at least twice. And she would do the same thing with me. So if I'm traveling, she would call me up and ask me, "Bete, kuch kar lo na practice," and let me know. So yeah, she kept me on my toes, it was extremely important for me not to let her down. It was working on me, seriously, I would say, because she was putting a lot of effort, and my body was not flexible enough at all after the surgery. After I do a lot of workout, but then dance needs a lot of grace, and that's something which I had to put in. And the only thing in my mind is I shouldn't let her down. One day, 24 hours before the performance, I told her, "What if I back out?" And she said, "Nothing doing." And she said that with a straight face, "Nothing doing." And she said, "One more thing, remember, if you forget a step, follow me. You can't do freelance there like the way you do on your talk shows. Don't do that. Follow me." So she gave me a backup plan. She boosted my morale, and she ensured that things don't go wrong or upset me. So I would overall.
So it was like if we both of us have to go to the right, but if she goes to the left, then she should continue at the left. So it was like that.
Wow. What a beautiful synergy Harini and Deepta, both of you had shown. Amazing. And Harini, I think the way probably Deepta showcased in this small incident, but I think this is one of the remarkable milestone wherein probably Deepta helped you relive, your dream, which you left at the age of 13, and you were all on stage. And the way probably Deepta narrated, and then you also said it, she has got all from you. Yeah, whether putting you on your toes, getting it all right, performing
like
it to the
any
best.
other child, I'm also her carbon copy only.
Wonderful. No, Deepta, I think I would say one thing. Harini must be feeling very proud. You're just not the carbon copy. You're walking next to her. Yeah,
Well,
and a mother.
I call her my version 2.0. She's a much better, more evolved.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I'm sure it's a proud moment for you when you see her walking your footstep, but for next to you, not following you, just next to you, hand in hand. And that is something very commendable, and I think that is what our viewers are also appreciating when the kind of comments I'm reading. Wow, amazing mother and daughter duo. Yeah, and Deepta, they are appreciating you a lot.
Yeah. I would like to thank the viewers, especially for coming and joining the session. You have already 4 chand laga diye. Thank you so much.
यहाँ पे 100 चांद दीप्ता ने लगाए हैं. Great. Harini, I would like to ask you a simple question, and I think it is a very, very important question. While a lot of things, of course, Deepta did learn from you, but as a mother, right, and as a woman, while you had been gone through your journey and you are a very successful professional, when did you really explain or taught Deepta about the do's and don'ts, about the social taboos, which are existing, take care of the security and other stuff? When was that time when, and how did you do it? That is more important. Because, of course, our kid is safe in a home environment, right? When they are with us, we are there like an umbrella. But it is very important for the kids to know and understand how to take care of themselves. Being independent is one, but taking care of that independence is something that I would like to hear from you. How did you do it?
Yes. So, interestingly, Deepta she's a very, very sensitive human being, okay? And that's what makes her what she is. She is a very, very sensitive human being, and she understands very quickly. She understands emotions very quickly. So she was the only child initially. When she was my only child, I noticed that she is someone who's ready to take on a lot more responsibility. And that's when my son was born, I started talking to her a lot about being responsible. I started talking to her about being independent and what comes with it. So we used to have a lot of open conversations. I did not tell her that this is safe or unsafe. The conversations would be more like a story, like situations. What if you were stranded in school, inside the school campus, and you were alone, and somebody would come and speak with you? What would you do? And she would have her reaction to it, and we would weave it through a conversation. And I would say, what about not getting panicky? What about just staying calm, not letting the person know that you're really, worried, and just go and how about finding a safe corner and being with people till I come and fetch you. Through those casual situational conversations, I think that was how it started very very early when she was probably even in pre-primary, because her school was at that time in a temporary setup, so it was pretty unsafe. And although we had the school buses flying, we were still getting familiarized with the bus drivers. So that was one. And another thing is, she would see me interacting with people. So there's a lot of demonstration that I did with my own interaction. I would maintain that distance in talking to people. I would ensure certain conversations do not proceed beyond a point. And we would go back and discuss those conversations. See, I didn't like the conversation, so maybe we shouldn't have spoken more, or we should have cut it. So I had, we used to take an auto rickshaw from one point to our house, and sometimes when the auto rickshaw fellow used to refuse to come because it was a very short distance, I would end up in getting into an argument, and then I would go back and reflect on it with her. So she learned something. And I say that, maybe if I get into an argument, I'm making myself vulnerable to that person, right? So let me not get into an argument, because tomorrow it might become a security threat for me. There were situations like that where I explained to her, mostly by taking situations which she might face. What if you are, you're in a dance class and you do not know how to deal with somebody who approaches you and gets into a conversation? What if you're walking on the road? Even recently, when she started moving out on her own, my first question to her was, what if someone starts walking beside you and gets into a conversation? What would you do? And she would come up with alternatives that, maybe I will just look at that person, nod and walk away, or just ignore and walk away. Give the person hints. So most of these were situations which we visualized, we spoke about. But what it actually did, I think, is what I intended to do. I don't know if it actually did that. We'll hear from her. But what I thought is I should be telling her things in a way that I don't scare her about those things. She doesn't feel that the world outside is a bad world. The world outside is a good world, but you have some occasional bad elements. All that you need to know is deal with them. Because if I tell her that this is bad, this is good, I'm actually telling her that there is a 50-50 chance of the good and bad happening outside. But the fact is not that. I wanted her to go out and explore. I wanted her to breathe free. So that was my intent. I don't know how it is, how she's taken it. So maybe we should hear from her as well.
Yes, Deepta. All over to you.
Yes,
I would definitely want to hear.
So how my childhood has been with her, I'll explain that with just two incidents, just like she did. One is when I've always been taught that I should value money. So that somehow I've seen in myself also, because it started from a very young age when I was quite small, in third standard or fourth standard probably, and that was when I got to know that there is a pen called Trimax, which was that time the costliest pen in my case for me. So it was like almost 60 rupees. So once I bought it, I used it for a couple of days, but then somehow it got misplaced. I searched everywhere, I couldn't find. But that day when I went home, I was never scared of her, because she has always told me that whatever it is, you should tell it to me. Our relationship has been very transparent, just like friends. So it is like, even if I'll not, but even if I fail or I get bad marks in exam, I will always tell to her, because once she told me that listen, Deepta, I always believe that whenever the results are up, or whenever the result of whatever you have done is up, there is no point in scolding, because I've heard from many people also, and even from my peers, that they get scolding after their exams. So it is like, when you scold a child after the exam, there is no point in doing that, because there is no change that is going to happen in the marks. It will make the child more scared that next time, what if my marks are less, how will I tell to my parent? So it's like that.
Correct.
So she will always push me before my exam ki, Dipta, now don't waste time, because this is the last moment that you have, and this is when you give your entire potential to the preparation. So that is what that is what helped me face her that time. And she told me that, Deepta, this is a very good thing that I can see in you, that you value the things, even the smallest of gifts that you have, and you should never regret. You, of course, you should not repeat your mistake, but you should never regret once you have actually told it to me, because I will never be angry on you. I will explain you, I will guide you, I will let you know what you should do ahead, but I will never be angry on you. So be frank with me. So that was one incident which made me respect her even more. And one more incident is when, after my 10th standard vacation, my friends and me, we planned to go for a movie. Okay, so that was, till that time, I have always so I have always been picked up or dropped by my parents. And that was when that was when she told me that she was there, she was available, she is always available for me from any wherever she is. But that time she told me, Deepta, it's high time now. If you want to go, you go. I'm not going to drop you in any case. This might seem a little weird, but that was how it is. But there was a positive context behind it. It was that she wanted me to go on my own, explore the world on my own, because as she has always told me that there will be times when you don't have me, and that is when you learn how to face it on your own. So that was when I went to the movie. I enjoyed with my friends. I came back and I was so happy, so proud of myself, that I could go away by my own, and I did not face luckily I did not face any difficulty. And yeah, so I was scared a little bit, that because I'm not so good in direction. My brother is very good in directions, but he also supported me, she also supported me. They both told that you don't need maps, but I still went by maps. But then later on I realized I didn't need it at all. But yeah, so that was when I realized that she has always been one of the main influencers in my life, who has always told me that you should win over your flaws, you should not let that conquer your personality. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think one in this first time outing incident, there's one thing which Deepta forgot to highlight, is she has a very strong instinct of behaviors, because of the sensitive person that she is. So I asked her that, how did you go and all that. We normally do a lot of debrief conversations. This being the first outing on her own, she was telling me. And then a few things she said, that I didn't get into that auto rickshaw because I didn't like his face. And I told her, yeah, probably sometimes it is good to go by your gut. A lot of these instincts, the intuition that comes, it's usually helpful. So don't ignore them. And I think she's been using that very carefully, because now she travels a lot on her own at very odd times. She goes very early in the morning when it's still dark, and she comes home very late in the evenings when, beyond sunset. She comes home even at 9 o'clock when classes were on. And all the time, I think this instinct of hers has helped her, isn't it, Deepta? I mean, she's been able to make a fair enough judgment. And I think that's all because we have these conversations very open. It started off very, very early. And she didn't feel it was stupid to talk about instincts. She used to tell me that I don't like his face. So is it okay if I don't talk with him? Which is fine. So if you don't like his face, why is it that you don't like his face? No, there's something about him unusual. I'm not comfortable. So respect your own instinct first. You don't have to go and talk to anyone who's out there. Okay, so if you're uncomfortable, stay away. And I think that has worked very well, because that has become her, kind of thumb rule when she's making a judgment.
Great, Harini. Great, Deepta. Wonderful. And I think, Harini, I must compliment you. Being not only being a successful mother, you're successful woman. You're a great mother. The way you're encouraging and empowering Deepta I'm sure Deepta is going to be, definitely no less than you, a poetess that she is. And probably that is what is required, for our young girls, who are coming up in this environment, which is I won't say good or bad, which is so different, right? Which is so unpredictable when and how things will happen. You have to use all your senses, you have to use all your intuitions which are there, and using it in the right manner probably is something which you are empowering her. Having those wonderful open conversation is something what any mother or any woman should do. Because if I go back to our childhood, yes, even I got an independent environment, I definitely had it, but there were some social taboos which were put in, which were probably told by my grandmom. This ऐसा नहीं करना है, वैसा नहीं करना है, लड़कियां ये नहीं करती. So this question or this thought or itself that लड़कियां ये नहीं करती हैं या लड़कियों को ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, वो इतना ज्यादा हमारी सोसाइटी में आज की डेट में है कि हम उससे बाहर नहीं निकल पाते हैं. And it is so amazing to see that how beautifully you are nurturing a child, a beautiful young girl, who will be a beautiful young woman. You're really empowering her very nicely, and I must appreciate that. I really liked the fact that you have not created that boundary around her of good and bad. Yeah. You gave her those piece of caution wherein she has been more decisive. She can be she can decide on herself. So probably that her decision making skills, her power of intuition is is showing in all those small things in day-to-day life and activities. And I'm sure, Deepta, you are going to be a great doctor, and I'm sure when you'll deal with different people, that will really, really help you. So it is very, very important, as Shikha says, it's helped children develop a good sense of judgment and intuition, and that is so, so well required. Um,
So,
I,
so I also
yeah,
I believe in the saying that mama knows best, and I believe in that she will always choose whatever is the best for me. But she will always make sure that it's not her own decision. It's always mutual, and I'm asked whether I like it or not. So it's like.
great. Harini, did you ever felt that you should give up your career to take care of your kids? But I'm sure you wouldn't have. But now, listening to Deepta, I'm sure you must be feeling happy about continuing. But did you ever face that one moment when you thought, "Okay, I should not. I should
I did.
leave that career"? You did?
I did because both children needed a lot of attention, and that was exactly the time where my career was really escalating at a very rapid pace. I used to feel guilty, and like I said, we've had these open conversations, and I had one such conversation with her. I asked her, "Do you think I should take a break till you finish your grade 10th?" So she sat me down and she said that, "Do you think grade 10th is the end of life? No. Okay, it will grade 10th will come, then grade 12th will come, then the younger ones, grade 10th will come, so on and so forth." And she said, "You have to do so many things. You wish to do so many things. You have so many aspirations. And this is the time that you're getting those opportunities." And she told me, "Ja Simran ja, ji le apni zindagi." This is exactly what I wrote.
Arey wow.
Do whatever you want. And now I'm old enough to manage cooking. And I was surprised because I said, "What cooking do you know?" Obviously, she doesn't know elaborate cooking, but she said, "I can cook to survive." Okay. And you're not going to be gone forever. So whenever
What was my funda is that if I don't know how to learn the normal cooking, I create my own. So.
Wonderful, Deepta. There also you're exploring. Amazing girl. Amazing. All kudos.
At the
So
point
Vatsala
when
ma'am, am I interrupting or something?
no,
Because
No, go ahead.
no, because I told in the beginning of the session that the poet in me may come out today. So this is the perfect moment when I can actually define who Harini Srinivasan, the HS Express is. So I had composed a small work of poetry on her birthday this year. So that was when I was 16. So I just love to read out the poetry that I have written. Okay, so so it's titled as Wonder Woman, which goes perfect for her name. Okay, so this this story is of a woman I had seen, just so keen to achieve something unseen. She was the queen, the one this teen had seen. The journey of struggle wasn't serene, through which I hadn't been, but she didn't stop. Many tried to drop, but success was something she had foreseen. Her ambition was sheen and goal on her screen, that the minds of some went ravine. But did she bounce back? Yes, did she. And this time nothing did she lack. As she gave a provoking attack, asked her this 16, was the hurdle unforeseen? And she said, hurdles will always intervene, but you should look for solutions instead. Since I met that lady so strong, dare something go wrong? She took me along as her journey prolonged. Since then, in my heart did she belong. She was none other than my mom. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing, beautifully summed up, Deepta. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm sure people who are watching this show, they are also overwhelmed. Beautifully written. I mean, really expressed so well.
Yeah, but
And
I would love to thank you and Chef Ali ma'am for actually providing me this platform, because I would have never thought of actually saying it on such a big platform. So thank you so much.
always welcome, Deepta. And I'm going to continue having interactions with you off the show also, because I also have a young daughter. You heard, yeah, and she's so much like you and beautifully written. I'm so amazed, and I think I'm
Thank you
really
to
feeling
everybody,
emotional.
the viewers especially, who have congratulated me so much. I'm really grateful to them too.
Harini, what do you want to say if we have to sum up this session? Would you like to conclude it in your way?
Yes. So in summary, it is. I think it's important that as we grow, it's important that we start living life where we left it. Like I sometimes say, that going backward is the real answer, or the best way to move forward is to move
Mhm.
backward and catch up with life where you stopped living it. So there is typically this point in time where we are done with our education and we figure out that get into the rat race and start moving ahead and compete and all of that, and we forget to live. So I
Hmm.
think at that point you've come some way forgetting to live and just existing. So now at some point when you're taking a breath, taking a pause, go back and start living life at that point where you left living and started existing. So,
Hmm.
and when I'm doing that, what I'm doing is I'm actually connecting myself back to those years where my daughter probably is right now, and reliving life once again. And that is kind of a battery charger. It keeps you going further and faster. So that's important. The second thing is, I think we're talking so much of diversity and inclusion at the workplace.
Hmm.
Actually,
Hmm.
there is so much of diversity in the way thought processes are between individuals. So
Hmm.
although Rita is my daughter, although she idolizes me, there is definitely a very distinctive personality of hers.
Hmm.
And I have made the mistake sometimes of bulldozing myself on her personality. And then many a times, I remember a couple of times initially, she even broke down saying, "I think you're pushing me too much. I'm not you." She said that, and that was a big eye opener. But it's important for us to listen to these statements or these feelings when somebody says, "I'm not you. Let me be myself," and take a step back. Not only in the workplace, but definitely as we are mentoring people, or we are raising children. I think it's pretty much the same. Everyone is not you. Although you may show that yourselves as being a role model, I think it's important to let them be themselves. And what we can do is put our experience in front of them, and
Hmm.
just tell them that this has been my experience, but you make your
Hmm.
choice. Sorry, empowering is again important by letting them be what they are, and not letting them be a continuation of what I am or what we are. They should be a better evolved version. So 2.0 is better than being an addendum to what I am. So that's my learning, I would say. I'm learning as I'm doing. I'm learning.
Absolutely, Harini, and I think I would be. I think I should say Happy Teachers Day to both of you, because I have learned so much from both of you, and I think this life, whatever I learned from this session, it was not only about how to manage diversity and inclusion right from the roots. It is about the providing the values, how to strengthen the belief system, how to pass it on to the next generation, and not really, push them to do as you have been doing it. I see a lot of parents, wherein they say that हमारे टाइम में ऐसा होता था, you should do it, we know it all. No, it is not about that anymore. It is more about, listening to them, giving that ear, giving them that space to spread their wings, really, yeah, and explore the world that is around. And sometime or the other, we should look at the mirror and praise ourselves, and give a pat on the back also, that we have come up to that level, wherein we are not only letting them learn from us, but we are also learning. And if as a parent we are open to learn from our kids, I think that partnership, it is all about collaboration and partnership. That partnership has to be shown every now and then, right? And it is so visible, Harini and Deepta, in your relationship. Both of
So,
you.
Vatsala ma'am, this is a beautiful thing that you said. And I always, so if I have to explain how my mom is in one line, as you asked me before the session, it will be that she is the anchor of my ship, which is which will never let my ship wreck in any storm. And she has always taught me that you should master. And I've also, because she has taught me, and I just wrote a quote saying that you should master the shades and you will get over the reflection. If you know the reality of people or the reality of the world, nobody will ever prank you, or nobody will ever bring you down, because you know what is going to come next.
Amazing, Deepta. I can't believe a kid can think so well. I mean, it is. You are really a mature kid, and I think credit goes to Harini. The poet is growing. She's exploring the world. She's spreading her wings. You are flying high, Harini, and I can see Deepta picking up her flight, spreading her wings, and just moving on. Really great. Thank you so much, guys, to be on the show. Thank you so much, viewers, to listening to us. Look forward to more. And all the best, Deepta, Harini, for your journey. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everyone.
And thanks, Vatsala. It was wonderful having this conversation with you, and I hope Women with Wings gives wings to a lot more women to fly ahead.
Of course.
And I wish Women with Wings all the best.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye-bye. Stay safe.